All right, guys. So we're gonna be watching Andrew Schultz goes off on comedians that turned on Joe Rogan by 2lazy2try. Now I haven't seen this video, so let's just get started.
I've been seeing a lot of comedians trying to separate themselves from Austin lately. Have you seen this? A lot of comedians that use Joe and his millions of followers to boost their careers, that went on there to promote their specials, that performed at the club, really used Joe's power and influence that he was very generous to give them. And all of a sudden there's a little internet backlash. It's and now I see these comics kind of vocally talking shit, that they would talk all this shit, by the way, behind closed doors, because it's what comics do, but real rat weasel shit. Because you let this guy enrich you, you used him for his followers, and now you see a situation where they're getting backlash, and instead you pile on for self-salvation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fucking weasels in this business, and it's good. I like to see it. I want everybody to know.
All right.
Okay, so here's my view of it. It's that these comedians that have been on Friends with Joe or have done his show, they're just trying to take a step forward, or a step back from that backlash that Joe was receiving for. I'm probably sure he's talking about endorsing Donald Trump and endorsing certain views of stuff, and all they're just trying to do is make light of it, and also say I don't reflect on the same beliefs, and I don't believe on certain things that he believes in, and we're just individuals and independent. For Andrew Schultz to be well, they're turning his back on him. I think you've done the same thing with your support too with Donald Trump, right? You're I didn't know he was gonna do this, really. I didn't know he was gonna do all these things that he said, and now you're sort of some sort of white knighting Joe Rogan and with other comedians trying to just defend themselves from potentially getting some fans on their backs because they saw him or them on the Joe Rogan experience or whatnot, which is yeah, shut up, fool.
All right. So it looks like the Rogan Sphere is done holding back. The same day Rogan called out Marc Maron, Schultz also called out Maron and every comedian that's turned on Rogan. So things are getting really interesting. It seems like now Rogan's friends might have the green light to start trashing other comics. Because like I said in my last video, for a while, Rogan didn't want any conflict between them. He hates it, which is respectable, but we all know behind the scenes there's a ton of conflict, jealousy, trash talking, and backstabbing. So it's nice to see it all be put out in the open now. After the Riyadh Comedy Festival and comedians trashing the Rogan Sphere, it's we're in a comedy civil war now. Schultz, he went off on so many people during this. With Rogan, you could tell Schultz has also been holding this in for a while, and there's a lot of people he wanted to talk shit about. And it's hilarious because he brings up Bill Burr and Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino and the backlash they've been getting for doing the Riyadh Comedy Festival. And he's bad friends are in shambles, go look at their comment section. Which is ironic because Schultz also performed at the festival and is getting called out in his comment section, but he's in complete denial. It's so funny. He's thankfully, our fans don't even care that we did the festival. But if you look at the comments on this podcast, it paints a different picture, and it's pretty similar to Bad Friends' comment section. But at least neither of them have it as bad as Bill Burr.
That's called deflecting and projection. What he's doing, what Andrew Schultz is doing, is trying to get the attention off of him and be can you see that? Their fans are turning on them. It's I remember you talking about previously a couple months ago that you were getting some fan backlash from supporting Trump. And then all of a sudden now you're dude, you make fun of comedians too. I don't get this, these rules that you guys are implying that, well, other, fellow comedians, they're off limits. And if you trash your fellow comedian who also happens to be your friend, like Joe Rogan, it's you can't do that. Silly.
They'll be fine. Schultz is right about that. I'm sure they'll always be making jokes about it, but this will blow over. And I don't think Schultz's fans really care as much as Bill's, especially. This isn't really that surprising from Schultz, but it is hilarious watching him cope over it and act like Bad Friends fans are losing their minds and his couldn't care less. But I think he's just looking for a way to trash Andrew Santino and Bobby because they had criticized podcasts like Flagrant for having on politicians. Also, they had on Marc Maron, and he went off on Rogan while he's on there and the whole Austin scene. So I think Schultz is trying to use this as an opportunity to throw shade at them.
And I know I ain't shit. Y'all ain't shit.
Well, that's the reason why we don't have any pushback, barely any pushback, is because
Oh, look at that. Barely. It's barely a pushback, okay? But look, that's what it's gonna be now, like, right? Like, what Andrew Schultz did was try to be political. It failed on him because of how he was being outspoken about it, and now it's just kind of like his fans are like, well, look, Andrew talking about politics or anything political is stupid. He's like, you know, he's fucking biased, or he's like what do you call it? He's fan sitting on stuff.
we've never been the virtue signaling type. We've never been the ones out here. Like, there are people that are getting pushback, and like, based on some shit that they had said in the past, I kind of get it. Like, I'll be honest, I kind of get it.
Yeah.
You know, like, Burger's getting all this pushback, and it's like the first time I've seen in his career him not like aware of why it's happening.
Yeah.
Like, I saw him on Conan, and again, it's a clip, so I don't want to take clips out of context, but he's like, oh, these people are like sanctimonious cunts, and it's like, bro, you did say that Beyonce sold out for blood money.
Yeah.
For going to like an oil state.
Yeah.
And then you went to an oil state. So like, now I will say, that being said, we've received almost no criticism. You know, Bad Friends is in shambles. That comment section is crazy. You know what I mean?
I would say the Bad Friends comment section or their fans are like, either there's some good ones, and then there's some bad ones, and then there's some political ones. It's a mixture of shit, like, because of, you know, when the Tiger Belly thing happened, like all those traumas and stuff, and I mean all those dramas and stuff, and you know, particularly like how people view Kalila, it's like some of their fans are like really out there, and they're very vocal about stuff. And Andrew Schultz is barely now, like his fans are now vocal, and you've been seeing it more on Reddit, you know, in my point of view.
Like, all Bobby did is went there and showed his
Yeah.
showed his dick, and then
It's
Santino,
progressive.
he did an accent, and then they came back. It's not that crazy.
Yeah, it's
Leave
progressive.
them alone. You know what I mean?
God.
Show your dick, Santino, do the accent, and then you come home. It is what it is.
It's so funny, dude.
Yeah, well, look, we got the best fans.
And the comments are hilarious. People are like, did he just gaslight us into saying we don't care? Like, all I see in the comments are fans caring. So this was an interesting strategy. And then they also spent like 20 minutes ranting about how they don't care what people have to say about them doing the festival, while simultaneously addressing what everyone has to say about them doing the festival. I mean, like this comment says, Schultz has got to be the most bothered, unbothered person on the planet right now. So Schultz and Akash addressed the rules of the festival, you know, because a lot of people are criticizing comedians for censoring themselves for the Saudis, since there's a lot of stuff you can't joke about. But apparently Schultz and Akash didn't even read the rules or see what was off limits. Like, Schultz claims he didn't censor himself at all, and he'll say whatever he wants over there, and he thinks there won't be any repercussions. He's like, oh, they don't even really care about the rules, which, thanks to Tim Dillon, we know they actually do.
Yeah, that's just some BS. Like, of course he saw it. He's just trying to say that, no, I don't give a fuck. I don't care if I go to jail. Like, what? No. It's just some sort of like weird, it's a weird gaslighting that they're doing, and a weird projection. Like, we've seen it from clips, like from Tim Dillon saying that, you know, I'm in America and I'll say what I want in America, but when I'm over there in their country, I'm not gonna say what they want me to say. Like, I'll keep it respectful. But even then, that didn't matter for the Saudis. They fired him, and their reason was because of that he abused the rules, which he was never in the country to begin with to like violate. You know, and so it doesn't make any sense. But they don't care about that. They care about, you know, the whole thing that Tim Dillon did was because of, he shit on them, but he did it in his turf, basically, right? But they can't forgive him for that because it doesn't matter to them. It doesn't matter.
You know, they take the rules very seriously because obviously he got fired before the gig for making a slave labor joke on his own show. So maybe Schultz didn't censor himself while he was there, but we know for a fact there are topics that are off limits.
People came up to me like, you know, you can't talk about X, Y, and Z, and I was like, what? I haven't even looked at this list.
You can say we can't, but we're gonna.
Yeah.
And then you just deal with the repercussions of that, which are nothing. It's nothing ever.
Yeah, but our jokes hit.
No. What it is, it's people covering their asses there. It's just like, it's like when you're like dealing with like a marketing campaign.
And then they also started trashing comedians who were talking shit about the comedians doing the festival. like Marc Maron, and it sounds like Schultz refers to somebody else specifically here too, but he doesn't say their name. I think he might be referring to Gianmarco Ceresi. I think he was speaking out about the festival, and he also makes fun of the Rogan Sphere.
That's the thing, when these fucking comics are like trying to be self-aware when they're shitting on us. They're like, just for the record, we didn't get an invite to the Riyadh.
We know you didn't.
Yeah.
You can't perform outside of Brooklyn.
Exactly. Like,
You do musical theater crowd work.
yeah, exactly.
But there are some of them that did get invited and they exposed it, and those are the ones. I mean, also probably some of them that didn't get invited are very vocal about certain things, about certain subjects, and they weren't scouted for, right? But then there's other ones that are sort of in the fence, and they'll ask them. But yeah, like it's a funny thing to talk about, saying like, well, you didn't get invited, so that's why you're talking shit. Yeah, I get that. We all get that part.
You know what I mean? Like, your comedy isn't good. Why would...
We didn't get an invite to the Riyadh. These fucking comics are like trying to be self-aware when they're shitting on us. They're like, just for the record, we didn't get an invite to the Riyadh.
We know you didn't.
Yeah.
You can't perform outside of Brooklyn.
Exactly. Like,
You do musical theater crowd work.
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, your comedy isn't good. Why would they want you?
Look at that audience of yours. I bet I can count the minorities on one hand.
What a sacrifice to not go to the festival you weren't invited
Yeah,
to.
they don't know you exist. It's not because you're a problem. It's not because you speak truth to power.
Yeah.
It's because you speak truth to upper middle class white people and 10 minorities who want to fuck upper middle class white people.
Just pat yourselves on the back.
Yeah.
That's it.
Go
Yeah.
to a Marc Maron.
Look at that's like some major trying to downplay stuff there. Like, no, you make fun of richer people than you. Okay, but now that you're rich, now you feel like you're attacked, huh? But when you weren't rich, you're like, yeah, like power to the people, man. But now it's different.
Show. Count the minorities.
Exactly. Yeah,
I doubt you get. I doubt you get to the second hand.
Yeah, where are those minorities you care so much about?
And then Schultz starts going in on comedians who have turned on Rogan, which he doesn't name anyone specifically, but it sounds like he has a lot of people in mind. So shit's getting serious. Like, Schultz goes off and calls them two-faced snake weasel rats, and he claims the comedians are just going with the tide. Like, they went on Rogan when it was more beneficial, and now that his podcast isn't what it used to be and public sentiment has shifted, comedians that were former guests of his are jumping on the hate train.
It's like, and now I see these comics like kind of vocally talking shit, that they would talk all this shit, by the way, behind closed doors, because it's what comics do, but like real like rat weasel shit. Because you...
Well, isn't doing rat weasel shit, wouldn't it be more just saying it secretly than saying it out loud on a video? Isn't that more like courageous or less weaselly? Like, you're going out there and actually stating stuff instead of being in the closet, you know, and not saying anything.
You let this guy enrich you, you used him for his followers, and now you see a situation where like they're getting backlash, and instead you pile on for self-salvation.
Yeah.
Not get your boys back and refute some of the rumors that exist on the internet.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fucking weasels in this business, and it's good. I like to see it. I want everybody to know, because they're going to get canceled for some shit in the future. They're going to not live up to the purity test. And Joe's the type of guy that he would have had your back. He would have had you on the biggest platform in the world to explain yourself. He would have given you that opportunity. But now, you know, you're showing who you really are.
Also, comedy scenes are comedy scenes. Like, Brooklyn was the most annoying comedy scene.
Yeah.
Probably still is. I don't need to perform there anymore.
This thing that's like they're going like all the comics and the whatever. It's like, listen, the majority of comics at a comedy club suck. Okay? They do. I go to the cellar and roll my eyes at half of these motherfuckers before I gotta go on and mop up the bombs that they fucking do. Okay? Now, Joe can no longer do something for you, or Tony can no longer do something for you.
The Don, he's cutting you off, man. Joe, look at how the way they speak about Joe Rogan. It's like, this guy's a king. You don't spit on the king's shoes, or you don't deny his elk meat when he sends it to you. You take it and you eat it and you say, thank you. Can I have another one? You know, and that's it, man. Like, it's just so stupid.
Because that's where it really comes down. When going on Joe Rogan made you a millionaire for 6 years in a row, all these comics were fucking quiet. They were complimentary. They were being so sweet because they wanted to get in. Now that going on Joe Rogan once doesn't automatically give you...
But also, like, the way he talks about it is like, the reason why you hit big is it wasn't because of your comedy. it was because of Joe Rogan. Like, what? Now you're just shitting on people and their careers. Like, what does that say about you? Because you're the one that kissed his shoes and didn't really ever say anything shitty about Joe Rogan, which I doubt that he has never done. I'm pretty sure there's probably a clip out there or two that he has shit on Joe for certain things. And now it's like, you don't do that? Like, what? Like, it's...
Your career. And now that Kill Tony is focused on more like character on Joe Rogan, they were complimentary. They were being so sweet because they wanted to get in. Now that going on Joe Rogan once doesn't automatically give you a career. And now that Kill Tony is focused on more like character-based people, now they no longer see their salvation in these two people. So now they're having these honest conversations. Oh, they're saying the R word a lot. Shut up, retard. Dude, I'm seeing these comments. It's just so two-faced snake weasels, little rats.
Yeah.
And this is kind of who they are, though, to be honest. Like, these are the conversations they have in private, and then they kind of change face. So maybe it's even better that they're finally have the balls to be authentic.
I mean, look.
Yeah, so it sounds like shit's hitting the fan here. You know, those comedians goofing on Rogan really touched a nerve. Like, I figured it was getting to him, but I didn't realize it was this bad. And I'm not totally sure who Schultz is talking about, but at one point it definitely sounds like
I think he's talking about Bobby Lee. He was talking to, what's his name, Ari Manny about it.
referring to Stavros Halkias, who's been on Rogan's podcast, but he's not someone whose career was made by Rogan. But Schultz refers to him because he did a podcast with another comedian, and I think she made a trans joke or something, and he called her out on it and said she had Austin brain. And that clip got a lot of attention. And Schultz also mentions how this person was on a podcast that's known for saying offensive stuff, which sounds like he's referring to Town. So I think he's definitely talking about Stavros. And also it sounds like he could still be talking about Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee, you know, because they had on Maron and they also criticized the Rogan Sphere. But then recently Santino went on Rogan's podcast and did Kill Tony. So after that, people thought everything was fine between them. But now hearing this, it sounds like, who knows? You know, it sounds like Schultz thinks he's a backstabber. So also I think he could be referring to Anthony Jeselnik because he's been making fun of Schultz and the Rogan Sphere for a while now, but I guess not as much recently, and those comedians seem to respect him a little more, so.
Like, so many people talking shit. The one that they really don't mention a lot is Anthony Jeselnik because how savage he is at getting people, and, you know, if they're talking shit back, you know, they're not gonna try to spar with him.
Oh, it's possible Schultz isn't thinking of him. And obviously, I mean, he's been on Rogan's podcast, but Rogan's not responsible for his career either. So then also, I'm sure Schultz is thinking of Bill Burr and maybe Dan Soder. He's another guy that's been on Rogan's podcast before, and he's taken some subtle shots, kind of more so at the people that follow Rogan and the comedians that latch onto him, like Schultz. And then also he had on Marc Maron recently, so I'm sure that did it. You know, it sounds like if you have on Marc Maron, the Rogan Sphere hates you. But none of these comedians owe their careers to Rogan. Like, I'm sure they really appreciate him inviting them on.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're trying to say that, oh, the reason why you're not good and you're not selling tickets is because you haven't been invited to JRE or have done another episode or another episode after that. You know who you can actually say that about? It's probably like Brendan Schaub. Like, he has the most appearances out of everybody, and he sort of semi-quit doing comedy because it didn't matter how many times he was on it. His comedy is still shitty. Just don't take my word for it. Look it up online. Look into it.
And would admit Rogan's very gracious to comedians and loves helping them out and seeing them succeed. But I don't think it's out of line for them to joke about or criticize Rogan just because he had them on his podcast once. I mean, obviously, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I wouldn't say these comedians are stabbing him in the back. Even though it does seem like Andrew Santino might be a little two-faced. You know, he criticizes podcasters like Rogan and has Maron on, who's known for trashing Rogan, and really doesn't push back at all once Maron starts going off on him. But then when Andrew has something to promote, he'll go on Rogan's podcast and be nice to him and act like none of that happened.
These gingers, man, they have no souls. No, I'm just kidding, guys. No, but Andrew Schultz, Andrew Santino is that guy to be like, you know what, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say the name, you know.
So also Schultz acts like all these comedians are just kicking Rogan while he's down and only trashing him now because it's popular. But there is a lot of valid criticism of Rogan.
Hey, newsflash, it's always been popular, bud.
And his podcast has changed quite a bit. Like, some comedians, I'm sure, are jealous and just piling on because they sense weakness. But A lot of this is just cope. I mean, Schultz acts like the only reason comedians feel comfortable criticizing Rogan now is because his podcast isn't as popular. And it seems like he thinks it's out of line for comedians to make jokes about Rogan.
I just think it's so corny. You use someone to enrich yourself, and the second they're going through something, you immediately abandon them, and then you could say nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you have to, now you have to say something. You have to have a word. It's like, yeah, okay.
That's some Karen shit right there. Schultz, you're going a little Karen right now. Look at his legs crossed and drinking some crafted tea, coffee. I don't know what it is. I don't say it like that. My boss can't take it.
Well, now we know who you are. Even though we always knew, now everybody knows who you are. And your fans probably
No, some of them I'm surprised by.
Really?
Some of them I'm like, I thought you were a stand-up dude, man. I thought you were a stand-up fucking guy. And you were not.
Yeah, that is the epitome of a...
I'm a stand-up comedian. That's what I do. You guys are sit-down comedians. You sit down and you do a podcast. That's what it is.
It's changed because I feel
And you, some of them I'm like, I thought you were a stand-up dude, man. I thought you were a stand-up fucking guy. And you were not.
Yeah, that is the epitome of a...
what's changed because I feel like
They don't see their salvation in him. Comics are loyal to their salvation.
Sorry, what are you saying?
like I feel like when Rogan was in LA, it was everybody got along. It was really kumbaya in the comedy scene. Like no one really attacked other comics, even if they disagreed with them. What has changed?
That's not true. They've always been doing that. A lot of people have done that. Like it didn't matter when he moved. And, the criticism is still always there. You're still allowed to criticize people. It doesn't matter. All of a sudden now the way the comedy scene changed was because of Texas. It's like no. If you're trying to create an excuse for it, that would be one of them.
This is my opinion. Joe Rogan was the way to make it for a 6 or 7 year stretch. It was like you went on Rogan. I saw it happen to me. Like going on Rogan, life changed immediately.
Did you hear that shit? This is the projection that's happening right now. The reason why earlier before he was saying that like you guys should owe him your careers because of JRE, and now it just comes off. He just says it out loud and says the reason why I got bigger is because I went on Joe Rogan. Guys, that's just projection 101. And he just exposed himself doing it. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that funny? Isn't that a funny way to do it?
Right? And when that was the case, all these comics were real fucking quiet. Nobody said a peep. No one said, and if they disagreed with something, they were just silent. Now going on Rogan once isn't going to immediately change your career. So then comics go, okay, well, I can't make it immediately off of Rogan. I can't make it immediately off Tony. I guess I'll sandbag these motherfuckers while, the internet is coming after them. I think that's what it is. I think it's purely where is my salvation? And now they see their salvation as like, oh, I'm going to separate myself from the manosphere because there's so much criticism on the internet. It's like, no, that's the time where you should lean into the people who helped you. That's the time where you should be a good, solid friend. That's the time where you should refute fake narratives about someone who helped you when you offered nothing to him. All these people that went on Rogan, they offered nothing to Rogan. He literally gave them a platform, and the biggest platform on the planet, millions of people that can go come out to your shows. You made millions of dollars off this guy, and now you're gonna fucking sandbag him, let other people come on your show to fucking talk shit about him? That is the...
You owe Joe Rogan the world. You didn't give him any sacrifices for this is some biblical shit. Like what is this even? What is his point of view? This holier than thou aspect of the comedy don Joe Rogan.
Yeah, you don't want that motherfucker in a foxhole, put it that way. And people know that. People know that at their core. Like your fans might support you right now, but they know you're a rat. And and your time is gonna come, and then nobody's gonna be there to help you.
Some people might say that Andrew Schultz looks like a rat. He looks like a little fancy rat from what's that movie called? What is that movie from Wes Anderson? Like Andrew Schultz looks like that rat from Mr. Fantastic Fox, or like a rat from Ratatouille. Like I don't know why you call people rats and weasels when you look like one, bro.
And now you see all these little fractures and everybody ripping people in different ways, and then comedians having other comedians on their podcast and then forgetting how to riff.
Oh, that fucking drove me crazy.
It's
dog.
like, oh, all of a sudden I don't know how to riff.
Now your
And you-
premise is offensive to
No,
me.
yeah, oh my
your
god, you
premise
can't
is
use that
real.
word. You used to be on a podcast that was like known for riffing about the most fucked up shit.
Yup.
And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, I don't know how to do comedy.
Oh, I
That's a
don't
bad
know.
word.
Yeah.
That's something that Joe Rogan does a lot, is that he forgets to riff with comedians.
Yeah, what are you saying? Well, I don't understand what you're... So here's what you're trying to say. No, what I'm trying to say is a joke. Let me say the crazy thing and then let me land.
It's funny. You white comics is acting like black comics is crazy.
Cat Williams ruined it all.
Williams calls his own shit.
Stop talking shit.
So shit's getting really entertaining now. I mean,
Wait, that's a good point. Pat Williams basically, like, you know, he threw the kitchen sink and like making fun of people and all that stuff, right? But when he did it, they were like, yeah, you're right, you know, that's fucking based and this and that. It was all positive. It was all positive reviews, right? But when other comedians do it, you have more of a problem with it, right? What does that say about you? What does that say about your guys' dynamic here? And then especially on who they talked about, because I remember Cat Williams was also making fun of Joe Rogan, and he mentioned these like 8 comedians that like are that he thinks they're funny but they're not really, right? And then all the guys in Joe Rogan's like Rogan Sphere were saying like, who is it? Is it one of us? Could it be one of us? Right? Like, did you guys remember that? Remember that time when that was happening? But nobody really said a lot about Cat Williams doing it. There were some, I'm not gonna deny that, but they for the most part, people don't really say anything that bad about it because it was allowed. Like, people allowed it, and you're allowed to do that.
it'll be interesting to see how comedians react to this. Like between this and Rogan's last podcast, there's going to be a lot to respond to. So make sure you subscribe to keep updated and check out the Patreon.
All right, guys. So this is the end of the video. My final thoughts are that Andrew Schultz, I don't know what he's trying to do here. It doesn't look good for him to be virtue signaling for Joe Rogan. This is all it is. It's a virtue signal for Joe Rogan, trying to protect his daddy, Joe Rogan. All of a sudden, I don't know why he's doing this, because when you hear about Andrew Schultz talking, or some of the things that he talks about is like, you know, you're allowed to do this stuff. You're allowed to make fun of people. You're allowed to speak out and whatever, right? But now he's like taking this approach where, no, you owe him your career, especially for some of these comedians that are the most popular ones. They're speaking out, and you guys shouldn't do that. Because Joe Rogan made your careers like mine, Andrew Schultz. I was down in the dumps, and then I went on Joe Rogan, and it got better, and then it got better more because I kept going on. It's like, that doesn't matter, man. There is no contract or anything set in stone where you're not there isn't something that can like not let you do or say certain things about Joe Rogan. It's not there. It's not the fucking 10 Commandments, okay? And for him to like do this sort of projection and deflection, it's just a silly thing to do. And we caught that from him. This is just a silly thing that happened, and it honestly, it's just, you shouldn't take him seriously. Like, he has done this stuff before. I've seen it, and this whole thing is just like things to deflect, like a way to deflect from his thing or his stuff or his audience, right? But anyway, guys, I'll let you guys go from here. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys for another video. Till next time, bye-bye.